start talking about like meme moves and like just funny, because you have to kind of appreciate how funny fighting games are to really like get a lot out of them. I feel like otherwise you're gonna get bored.
What about meme characters?
Exactly, right. That's something else we can transition to.
Yeah,
we were we were considering that. We're definitely going to be talking about geometry.
But we do want to start with like proper meme moves.
Do you mean like meme as in moves that are like hilarious and how silly they are, or like just bad? Like what's the
like? This is like balloon.
Yeah, game moves with like reputations.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know about a couple of those.
Yes,
all right.
I use them quite a bit.
You
created the reputation for a bunch of moves.
All right, so I was going to do an introduction, but first of all, you don't have too much time, and second of all, I think everyone who like knows and follows me probably knows who you are at this point.
No, they don't know who I am. I'm not that famous.
Who are you? I don't know you.
I have no clout, zero bitches.
This MF stacks no paper.
It's true, actually, I don't. I wish I did.
No fighting game player stacks paper.
Bro, no, you don't understand. You don't understand.
If we stacked paper, we'd be playing a different genre.
Damn. So there are like, I guess, a few categories of meme moves, right? There's moves that are like good, but get talked up a little too much. Carnal's balloon is one of those, right? It doesn't stop working at any level, but it has answers. It's not like perfect. And then you've got like moves that kind of suck but are really funny to use. Stuff like I guess Riot Stamp kind of counts as that, right? Yeah. Like sleep mode. You've talked a lot about that.
Actually, I think that's a good move.
Dragon install.
DI is a meme move.
Dragon install.
RS is actually good. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say RS is unironically a good move. It's just really bad if you try to use it in places that are like incorrect.
I think that still counts.
It's like tempting. I think like
kind of. There's some tricks, right? It depends because it's frame 1 airborne, right? So in a game like Plus R, where stabilizing combos is hard, when you do something like that against like Dizzy, for instance, she loses a lot of her ability to loop Oki, even if you get hit. And there's a lot of little tricks like that. And I just think the reward on it is good. The fact that you can't punish it on block usually is great. It requires a specific answer, and I think when Soul's back is to the wall, it's like a really slippery escape option.
Because it's like frame. What's the start?
It's an unreactable overhead.
Yeah, no, it is quite literally a 9-frame overhead in the corner.
Yeah. Dang.
But like, it's kind of situational though. Like, is it frame 1 airborne in AC?
100%. Yep, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
It is so, and that's really helpful for a couple things. I think like Soul's biggest meme move is DI. Actually, no, I lied. DI second is the biggest meme move. Well, nobody even remembers that's in the game.
It's like unusable, pretty much, right?
Jake did it one time and almost got like a bunch of tasks.
The HNK walk,
where he got
right?
like the tasks, because when you're in DI or DI second, right? Doesn't matter. Soul's 5K is a 2-frame move. And you can FDC it because you can FDC the first 2 frames of any normal. So his 5K, you can FDC it the frame it hits.
Oh no!
You can like.
I remember.
It's really hard.
But didn't someone prove it wasn't task only?
Yeah, no, Jake. Jake managed to do it a little bit. He couldn't keep it going because that's fucking hard. But it is. You can technically kind of use it. Regular DI is weird too because I think
it uses like a good hit confirming for block pressure.
Yeah,
like the thing is,
every single time I go for like charged stinger aim on a Soul player's wake up and they dragon install through it, I just think, great, it's time for this character to be rewarded for making bad decisions again.
Yeah, it's really funny because like it's a bad install, but if you're like really low on health, I can't really think of a much better thing to spend your meter on if there's like a big life deficit. Like if they're not remotely near your health total, like that clip of Barant killing Kesuke off it, because Kesuke had like a full life bar, and so he was like, "Whatever, I'm a DI." Like
it's a mindset of like
kill him,
rolling the dice, right? It's like it's worth it. It's worth taking that chance
because the duration is longer the lower his health is.
Mm-hmm.
By up to 4 seconds longer, which is a non-trivial amount.
That reminds me of Issen and Samurai Shodown 7, and that game's been kind of a hot topic now that like it's getting rollback in 9 months.
Yay! Meme moves though, these are fun. I'm trying to think of more. Moves that have a reputation like for being good.
Yeah,
those are good. Kliff Sweep, that's a really good move.
Mm-hmm.
Forward profile, baby, let's go.
I think every character in Guilty Gear has at least 2 meme moves.
Right. But Kliff Sweep is really funny because it's like you'd think that the forward profile will be like the part of it that stands out overall, and it is really good. But I think what's just fucking astounding is that it has the same startup as his 2K. It's a 7 frames. Yeah, his 2D is 7 frames.
Oh.
Which means that you can, if you're instant blocking, you can use it as a barre, and it's actually really good against Slayer because it beats every dandy step follow-up. It can do this, which is insane. I had this happen in a game, and it's proof that no matter how many times I play with Raimaru or other Slayer players, where do I post this? I'll just put it in the podcast.
Yeah.
Every time I play this matchup, I find a new way that this move hits Slayer in just some insanely stupid way. And like I sincerely can't explain this shit is insane.
Just gonna drop that image.
I've never
actually
seen this
you know
in my
what
life.
I'm gonna try and like put this up on stream just because it's that good.
But there's just
that is
there's
egregious.
No fucking explanation for this. I fucking don't know.
Like you'd have to like.
I can see the logic, right? Like I don't know. Maybe I'm also just gear brained. So, but like I can see what's happened
that
here,
right? Mean it's right.
Oh, yep. No, there it is, baby.
It's completely fair. You
Watch
know,
him swoosh right in.
It's just so fucked up. Like I swear, I press this button.
You just find yourself in a situation.
Yeah, like whatever. I'm gonna press 2D because I think they're gonna do something on the ground. And there's like, it's like rolling dice, right? It's like flipping a coin. Like there's a 25 or 50% chance I'm gonna phase through them and hit them.
It's like,
all right. What Cliff's all about, though.
There's a 25% chance they're gonna jump it and kill me, and then the last 25% chance is some shit like this, where it's like I have no idea what the fuck happened, but I'm gonna convert that because I saw it counter hit.
Yeah, you're ready to convert it just because you know it can happen, but it's also supremely funny that it can happen.
Right? Like it's and what would Kliff's second meme move be? Because it's
taunt.
Would it be Nape Saddle? I feel like Nape Saddle.
No. See,
Nape
there's a lot of good candidates.
Like, I think of like the insta stun hand slap.
Oh god.
Yeah,
there's so many with him.
One step forward. It's 1 step forward is what it's called, right?
2 steps.
Yeah, 2 steps back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's one of them.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
The only clip I have of that being really funny is ironically against Keisuke.
I mean, it's consistently funny though.
That's the thing about it, right? Like you can just like gold burst and do the combo into that, and that's just how the move operates.
This is a 75 meter IK setup. I knew he would do it.
Man, you know what? You know what though?
All right.
Yeah. He warned it.
Oh my god.
I knew you would do it.
That is what I'm seeing, right? Let me
Warren.
You motherfucker! You baited Warren with the die.
I thought he was gonna burst the FD chop, and I was looking for the burst. He didn't do it, and I'm like, he's gonna Warren on way quick. So FD chop, RC, IK. That's a burst safe combo because it's done.
He's too good.
Imagine if he lost a tournament to that.
Oh,
it could happen.
That would be so base.
It could happen.
Got knocked out of a team bracket.
That's the fucking.
So the moral of the story is that you should play Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus R. It's a good game.
You know what the real Guilty Gear you should play though is
Missing Link.
Guilty Gear Missing Link.
Oh yeah, that game has like a million meme moves.
Oh my god! I can't even think of my favorite from that game.
There is one that comes to mind. I have to talk about it.
Yeah,
want to mention?
That game had some like balloon tier memes for the longest time because nobody knew how to ground tech.
Yeah,
and then we learned what the hitboxes were, and we got really surprised. My favorite is Maze 2S.
Oh, the one that's fully invincible, right?
Incredible.
Yes.
Have you seen this move, Bear?
It's the one that's fully invincible, right?
No,
it's
fully invincible, but that's
Mib,
there's thousands of those.
We're gonna lay it on him procedurally. Right. So you know how Mate 2S works in New Guilty Gear, right? Like, it looks like this, right? That's normal. That's Mate 2S.
Like a
nice
move.
hitbox.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So check this shit out. So during the startup, she has no hurt boxes, right? It's invincible, but there's more to it than that, which we learned. It doesn't just
her hurt boxes are hit boxes.
I see.
Yeah. I don't know.
Can you throw her during this?
No, you're gonna get hit.
Great.
You're gonna move.
There are some moves like Axel has like 50 different moves that just remove even his collision box.
He has moves that Axel's great. I'm pretty sure like every move of his is a meme move.
No, not every move, but like half his moveset just at random intervals is invincible, and
Axel
it's
is just
unironically good for him.
He's blatantly unfinished, right? In Missing Link.
He doesn't even have. He has code for charge canceling and is broken by a semicolon.
Beautiful. Missing Link is like a proof of like the miracle of fighting games, because you can make a game that's so dysfunctional, but it's so charming that like it eventually slowly built up to current Guilty Gear.
I'm trying to find the normal...
Like Guilty Gear: The Missing Link is
one of the worst fighting games I've ever played.
I love this 2H. It's so good. You go through all the frames. It looks great.
It's one of the things when you look at it and just go like, it's a miracle that anyone has ever made a good fighting game. It's kind of, you look at what the fuck?
It's so fucking awesome. You're just never gonna top.
Okay, we're talking about Guilty Gear 1 now, so and T can back me up on this. So we are both involved in the Kusoge Advent Calendar, right? Mm-hmm. And a very important tradition that we have is that the first game that gets played on the Advent Calendar is the first in a series.
Yes.
And we're talking like Guilty Gear: The Missing Link was the first,
like the very first one, right? 2016?
First one that we ever played, in 2016, which still hasn't gotten a write-up, unfortunately. That's why we're hoping to return to it at some point. But, okay, so the next year, we played Tekken, the first one, and, oh man, there's plenty of, like, meme moves in Tekken.
Well, the most infamous...
King Down Forward 1,
one that's
right?
clearly the most infamous, right?
Yeah, King Down Forward 1 and Tekken 1 and 2. It's a... okay, and this is where we get into some specific memes about how stupid Tekken is. So, So, basically, if you're at a, like, specific on-block, like, frame disadvantage that is greater than the startup of your next move. So like say you're at like plus 11 or something on block, and you hit your opponent with a jab, which is anywhere in old Tekken, it's anywhere between like 8 to 10 frames. They will be floated, like the jab will be unblockable and they'll be floated. And the reason this happens, and this is still kind of exists in like modern Tekken to a much lesser degree, but it still exists. And the reason that this happens is because your blocking animation is technically an animation with a recovery period attached to it. So blocking is essentially a move that is forced onto you by you blocking attacks. And most of the time, you're able to move before your opponent is, or they're not able to move fast enough that you have to like... that you can't block their follow-up. But that's why, like, if you block like a wake-up cross chop or something like that, or in Tekken 7 specifically, there's a particular setup with Claudio where if you do like a really like late hitting running 2, which is I forget. It's like plus 9 on block or something normally, so but it's like if you make it extra plus like that, you make it hit extra late. It's plus enough that you can link a jab afterwards, and the jab is totally free. And that's why Tekken needs to have so many instances where it's like this move is plus. The new wall stagger mechanic is actually the best example of it, right? Because they've got this like you can block a move now. It's like plus 11 now. And obviously it's held back by the pushback, but it's also held back by the fact that it's specifically flagged as the type of block stun where you are allowed to block during it. And for the most part, this did not really exist in old Tekken, and I don't know what the hell happened when they were doing King's Down Forward 1 in the first 2 games, but that move is genuinely plus 90 on block.
Have been a mistake.
Yeah, it like staggers. You can combo
it
off
must
of it
have been a
on block.
mistake. There's no other explanation.
Right. And we were talking about GG1, and there was something I wanted to mention.
Oh, isn't there there's some moves that are clearly mistakes in that game too.
Oh yeah, no, Kliff's 5P is an 11-frame jab.
Yeah.
And then his 6P, I want you to guess the 6P startup point. Give me the
5.
Oh, it's 3.
Reversal
We
6P, baby.
We've got Unga Bunga Wake Up Super in the chat saying, my favorite meme move is the Suicide Shin Super in Hokuto no Ken that not only costs meter, but kills you after using it just for staying true to the original source material. Hokuto no Ken, like the Hokuto no Ken game has a bunch of moves like that are basically
there's one use for it. If you're already going to lose the round, I think.
You can't even use it for that. You can't even use it for that.
Doesn't it get rid of the stars, or no?
It does get rid of the stars, so it would be useful because it gets rid of your stars because it's an IK, right? But the opponent just kills you because when they see you do it,
because it's too slow, right?
They don't let you do it because that gives you an advantage going into the next round.
Even if you want to die, you can't.
Yeah. You die by their rules.
You will only die if I kill you. But like Hokuto no Ken has a bunch of moves like that. Like there's a specific animation for the I forget which matchup it is, but there are like matchup specific like IK animations.
I think like a lot of stuff Jackie has. Right?
I think it's mainly Judah and
yes, Judah and Ray.
Yeah, and also Ray and Mamiya or whatever her name was.
Yeah, Ray and Mamiya.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of Jaggi Super, the Say My Name Super. That move is incredible.
Oh yeah.
What's great about the Jaggi is that he's got a command grab that only exists against Shin. That literally plays a cutscene.
That's the one I was thinking of. I forgot who it was because I don't know my H and K.
And you know what H and K reminds me of though? SBX.
Yeah.
Beautiful game.
And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know enough about it to tell you what I'm. Yeah, like I can't.
Sengoku Basara Cross was basically like, in a lot of ways, it was an attempt to fix some of the problems with Hokuto no Ken. So like that's why you've got the banishing strike thing, but it's got a few more restrictions.
That's why they got burst.
Yeah.
The most ineffective burst ever made, but it is a burst.
They tried something
less effective bursts. I've seen the Engun combo breaker work more often.
Okay,
than not.
Yeah, it'll save you once, but like it's just once, and characters have so many ways to find hits in that game, unless you're fucking the Kai dude.
Masamune.
Yeah. But it's like, you have a fucking grappler. You have a grappler who is literally you cannot jump against him at all.
Yes. Toyotomi Hideyoshi.
Because he will just kill you if he sees you jumping.
Yep.
That's really good.
He'll do the jumping pile driver on you.
Yeah, and it leads to an infinite if you know how to do
does.
It. And if
it doesn't, you just do the funny corner reset instead.
Yeah, like even if you can't, like you do an inescapable corner reset. The only issue is that like that's gonna build up their burst faster, but like who cares? They're gonna die.
But meme moves have existed even back in the old days. Do I have to talk about like Boxer Low Rush?
Yeah.
God, what is that, like +9, +10 on block?
+10, there we go. +9, you're lowballing a little bit there, buddy. Come on. Think bigger. This is the company that decided that every single DJ normal should not be worse than 0 on block. And I'm pretty sure the worst he has is +1. Wait, no. One of his fierces is 0. Every other normal he has is plus.
Yep.
Isn't his sweep, his slide,
His sweep is
TM
+1 if you don't space it.
nice?
Yeah. But what about World Warrior Guile?
Okay, actually, I'm pretty sure he has like 1 minus now, but it probably doesn't matter.
Oh.
I know his low forward is like +8.
What's
which is
really
like,
funny
okay.
about World Warrior Guile is like he had like a far jab that had even more reach in his jab, and like
Yeah,
that,
and it
that was
the
removed
dizzy.
entirely.
Yeah.
He,
They got
he
rid of it 'cause
also
they're
could
like,
just
you know,
like
his-
throw you
his-
from full screen.
I mean, his
And-
proximity jab already looks like a fire jab, and they were like, you know, the current fire jab is just way too broken.
Yeah, I mean World
'Cause it
Warrior.
goes like fucking 5 years forward, and it's like, yeah, you know,
Everyone who's like worked or like hacked Street Fighter 2 stuff has like commented on how Spaghetti Guile's code in particular was, and I just something is really funny about that.
well, there was a rumor
Like he throws you and he soft locks you, and it's done.
There was a rumor that the way the game was made was that every character was programmed by somebody different.
Yeah.
And this is a rumor. I don't know if it's true. But if that is true, then I think it's been like speculated that they put someone new on Guile. And
Guile was a mistake.
in a lot of ways, yeah, he was.
Yeah, so the unpaid intern meme comes true maybe a little bit.
You know, I feel like we could say the same of. Although I feel like any game where it's like each character was developed by a different person, you can sometimes really tell the difference.
Like his upside down kick hitboxes. What the fuck is this? World Warrior.
Yeah.
Like, what is?
This is like his legs are literally swords.
Yeah, low forward was crazy.
Yeah.
Why is this shit +8? Why is crouching?
Why wouldn't it be?
+8? I can think of a lot of reasons.
You know, thinking about unfinished characters, in addition to like going through like the old Kusoge Advent Calendar episodes, I've been feeling things about Samsho 3 because that game was kind of like my first foray into tournament organizing, streaming. It means a lot to
so
me
much.
somehow, you know, despite being a mess of a game. But we're going to talk about Basara a little bit in that game.
Oh boy.
The Tekken character?
Yup.
Where he's basically just, I got a good hop kick and I got a good low, I'm Tekken.
Yeah, that's the closest he gets to
more or less what
functioning
he is, right?
because his specials are so bad. I mean, well, let me pull it up. First of all, the input for his like shadow clones. In 5 special, it's like reverse DP, right? 4-2-1 button combination. It's fine. In this game, it's 6-4-6-4 A, B, C, or D, which already says a lot. But all right, the options are jump forward, neutral jump, clone Basara walks forward. That's a C version, and in brackets on the wiki it says faster than a real one can even. so that's what we're working with here. And then for the D version, the real Basara neutral jumps. And I feel like that has got to be the funniest thing they've pulled in this game. It's just like you have shadow clones and you have a version that's just the real Basara jumps. Like
that must have been a mistake, right?
I don't think that's the mistake. The walking faster than the real Basara can definitely is, but the other really funny thing he has to him is that he does not interact with deflects like at all.
Yep.
And sleep mode, I think this was new to you too, right? That I found out.
Yeah. So we
deflect.
knew. Yeah, so we knew for a long time that so Basara's attacks can be deflected in Samsho 3, but if you deflect any one of Basara's attacks, he completely loses all of his hurt boxes and even his collision for the entirety of his like stun animation.
Oh wow.
So you can't actually punish him for doing that. And we knew that for a very long time. But what Polar Bear recently revealed to me and a bunch of other people presumably is that Basara does not have a deflect.
And what that
His
means
just doesn't work.
I literally tried, and like I went into like training mode. I set like I set the CPU to just like Haomaru 5B, and I tried to deflect, and I could do it with everyone else, and I couldn't do it with Basara. So I'm convinced his deflect just does not work.
That actually reminds me of going back to Hokuto no Ken a little bit, because there's something else that's really funny about that the Basara thing reminds me of, which is so like obviously Toki in and of himself is like the ultimate meme move is Hokuto Ujo Hagan Ken, right?
Yeah,
Right.
But
Everyone.
there are so it's the instant kill that just will hit, right? There was it was actually a period of time where I think it was whenever Archo would upload match footage of Hokuto no Ken, obviously like if someone combos into their fatal KO, they'll like, you know, wait for it to hit, and then, you know, because they like to do this thing where you know, if they don't want you to sit through the rest of the like the long ass animation to get to the next match, so it's like, okay, the fatal KO hit, like, you know, the match is over, then we'll just move to the next one. But whenever Toki did the IK, they just moved to the next match as soon as he sat down. Because it was going to hit. But so just that's just an aside. What the Basara thing really reminded me of is that, so in Hokuto no Ken, every character has two throws. They have a normal throw, and they have something called a catch throw, which is done by pressing both kicks, and it's a hit grab that removes a star from your opponent on hit. So it's mostly used to, like, you know, start certain combos with certain characters if you get a stun or something like that.
Yeah.
In the arcade version of Hokuto no Ken, Toki does not have a catch throw. They forgot to program it in, right? So they just completely forgot to give him a catch throw. So come the PS2 port of Hokuto no Ken, they found it was, you know, there's some patch notes that they released or something. I don't know where they are,
And they had to add it.
I can't confirm this. No, it gets better. They added a whiff animation for Toki's catch throw, but they still forgot to give him the catch throw.
Oh my god!
So wait, you can whiff it, but you won't. It can never.
No, he can't. There's no whiff animation because there's nothing to whiff.
Oh.
No.
So
God.
like, is it in the files, or they said they gave him one and he just nothing changed?
No idea. I don't think anybody's like data mined the PS2 version.
Wow.
To that
So they just said, yeah, we fixed it, and they just didn't at all.
Yeah. You know what my favorite thing about Toki is? So he's got this really shitty back teleport, right? That goes up in the air. It has like a shitload of recovery, and this is the hurt box, right? Like, damn, that sucks. You want to know what the teleport that has like no recovery has for a hurt box?
Just the foot, you know?
Why? This is so good that you do 2C into this on block.
I think
block straight
like
into
I
a
remember
jab.
Tarkus was like
2D 2D into teleport is plus.
like it's almost definitive that this character was purposely made overpowered. Like,
no, there's no way they didn't. There's no way.
Yeah, there's like no other even before, like, you know, like before this was the funny basketball game, is the shitty Toki game.
Yeah,
right. Because like
genuinely,
when
people
they found all that shit.
after Togeki 2006, people thought this game was dead.
Yeah,
because like there was the first Togeki for this game in 2006 had like 60. It was 64 entrants, and genuinely like almost it was like a third or something of the entrants, like at least 20 or something like that. Let me hang on. Let me get
like a lot of
numbers.
Mr. Heart in Toki. I don't know why Mr. Heart was popular.
Everybody likes Mr. Heart.
He made it to grand finals.
Back when nobody knew how to do anything, he was pretty cheap.
Yeah, I can see that. He's got damage. He's got
so at the games. So at the first Togeki tournament for Hokuto no Ken, 27 of the game's 64 entrants used Toki.
Wow, that's that kind of ratio.
Genuinely, is like almost half of the players in that game were using Toki.
I feel like all the like typical, you know, broken characters in modern games have never reached that level of saturation.
Yeah. It's like even in like Guilty Gear X, where you have Milia and Johnny fucking shit up. They require a certain level. They require so much skill, and even then have counterplay. So you still end up seeing a pretty good variety in that game. Plus, like other characters can like TOD them if they do land their hit and such. But like Asian K with like Toki was just another level.
Yeah, it was something else, dude. Toki was something else.
That's a main character.
He still is something else. Like,
yes.
What does this motherfucker have, right? Like, he's got like incredible normals. Like, his low jab has like significantly more untech time than everybody else for like no reason. Obviously, he's got the teleports with like no recovery. He's got possibly the smallest hurt box in the game, so every character has to do like Toki specific combos.
Right, like, have you seen, like, do you have the image of his hurt box next to Kenshiro's? It's so fucking good.
I don't have it on hand, but like it's probably not difficult to find. But like he's just got this incredibly petite hurt box. He's got a throw and multiple catch counters that turn you into an airplane for some reason. And then he's also got a fucking air catch counter with starts combos and a projectile counter.
Now,
and a good
projectile. What you're not
projectile.
telling everybody is that these counters are active on frame 1, so you can't safe jump them.
They sure fucking are, and you sure can't. And also, in case you thought his defense wasn't strong enough, he has an incredibly fast, invincible reversal super that is plus on block and turns you into an airplane on counter hit. And it removes 2 stars on normal hit, and so if you land it as a counter hit, you turn into an airplane and you get 1 extra star taken off because that's how star removal works.
And did you know it cannot trade if you are losing as Toki? There's a system in place.
Oh
where if
my
the opponent
god!
is winning by 1 round, it will never trade. It will always.
I did not know that. That's too good.
How do you even like? God.
I don't know. They were like, yeah, you know, priority.
Okay, but the one weakness that it has is that its range is very, very small. So literally what you do is you just you bait it by making it whiff. I'm not saying that's easy, and I only ever see like bad Tokis with this move.
This move is really funny, and the best part is that if it counter hits, you FKO because it takes 3 stars, and if they don't if they have 3 stars, it's just boom, you got hit by this plus on block reversal.
Because remember, it turns on counter hit, it turns you into an airplane.
That's crazy.
So, God.
It's just so crazy.
Fighting games are something so great. So
it's beautiful.
I think we're gonna go from like absurdly good characters to like actual joke characters.
I got it. Because Blitz Tank.
I think you have the floor.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, he's a cool character design. Like the idea of a tank as a fighting game character is unironically cool. Especially in like the universe like justifies it too. Like he's not even a joke character in Akatsuki Blitzcamp. He has the tragic backstory of being an amalgamation of dead war soldiers being used as a battery for a biotank, and it is supremely fucked up.
Yeah, ABK's story is actually kind of fucked up.
But now he's the funny tank, and the worst part is he is the worst character, undisputed bottom 1 in most ABK games. In the Dojin version, he's not bottom 1 because he has a couple bullshit aspects that got nerfed in later games. But aside from that, he is terrible character. You know, like his normals are it's not even like he just has to commit so hard to everything.
Yeah,
but because he's the tank, because he's the fucking tank, you get people playing this character, and I hate playing against this character. Like, you know, there's the aspect of like, oh, it's a waste of time to fight this because he's not meta relevant, but I'm cool with that. You can play whatever character. He is just a miserable to fight because he has the always active armor, right? So he always has armor Ralph, but it only takes up to 800 damage. So everyone's heavy attack beats the armor. And also multi-hit attacks will beat it.
Mm.
So this naturally creates a situation where you can't use most of this character is garbage, but you can't use most of your kit against him because he's gonna kill you if you do. So you have to play
this.
So
This genuinely reminds me of the way Smash players talk about Little Mac.
it is exactly like that. It is exactly. You have to fucking lame out Tank. You
It's
have
funny,
to
like-
you have to bully him because otherwise he's gonna beat you.
And like Little Mac,
And no one wants to lose to Tank.
Little Mac is funny too because it's like they had to know what they were doing putting this character in a platform fighter, right? I mean, like I know Smash is not. I know Sakurai's relationship with competitive Smash is what it is, but they have been intentionally like balancing Smash 4 at least partway through its
Since
life and
Smash
Ultimate,
4.
yeah, and all of Ultimate for better or worse. Because I mean, Ultimate, I feel whatever about it. I like Smash, but I kind of fell off with Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other meme characters. There's quite a bit. I mean, Rise of the Robots makes Player One always the meme character.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you dig that deep, it's like, yeah, you can find a lot of games that kind of just
Potemkin and Missing Link.
a lot of. Oh yeah, of course. Pot Missing Link is just like not a character in that
Okay,
Oh
game.
my
he's bad, but
god,
he's
me
not that
and
bad.
Tarkus. Oh my god, just last week, or it might have been the week before. Tarkus was trying to figure out, is Potemkin Justice a 10-0 matchup? Because there's the whole thing in theory, like she doesn't have anything that like stops him from directly playing the game. But how can he feasibly ever beat her? Because for those who don't know about Missing Link Potemkin, this is the worst character in any Guilty Gear game by far. He does not win a single matchup because Missing Link's teching system is you can tech any knockdown. So Slide Head is minus on hit.
Oh.
It's punishable on hit even.
That's you could stop there and be like, yeah, Potemkin just doesn't function now. Bye.
Yes.
But it gets
Yes.
worse.
Yeah,
His
it's
command
5K.
grab. His command grab does not lead to any pressure after because you just tech it. His fucking normals are in a game where characters like Milia have absurd disjoints. Potemkin has giant normals. None of them are disjointed. You can whiff punish them with an instant kill. You win the game.
What's great about them is that they're all fucking slow as balls. Why is his 5K 14 frame startup?
Don't
Jesus
even-
Christ.
His
14!
fastest normal is his crouching heavy, and it's 6 frames. And this is a game where like Milia has, of all characters, has a 4 frame, which is the same as Soul in this game. And then it's like there's so much other stuff that's awful. Like his best move is his super, and you're never gonna get to use it because you have no incentive to ever approach Potemkin. So you don't build meter by walking in Missing Link. You only build meter by hitting him and getting hit. So
Yeah, it's
Potemkin,
awesome.
and also by having less than 50% health, but like that's otherwise like the only way Potemkin wins a game is you hit him to 50% health and you let him super you.
His
That's
super
the
is
only.
honestly his like design in that game is also really funny. Like his super is just a really large punch, and that's it.
It is. It's hilarious.
I mean, look at this CS, the first frame.
Oh no, that's the one where he reaches behind him, doesn't he?
Yes, he does
By
like
the
this
way,
weird karate
12
chop.
frame startup on that hitbox!
Yeah, it has no recovery. Like, okay, frankly, Potemkin, if the teching system actually functioned, he would at least have the ridiculous vortex going for him. Because Popbuster is 0 frame and can be special canceled into. So every normal can go into a 0 frame command grab.
Uh-huh.
And that would be legitimately scary if it led to anything. But first off, that requires Potemkin to get close to you, and there isn't a single character in the game who can't zone him out.
God,
And-
he's like a less successful Marstorius. And that's sad.
Yes.
What's great too is that on top of all of this that we've just described, if you jump with him, you are stuck in pre-jump. Not for 5 frames, not for 7
12?
frames, not for 8, 12 frames.
Damn.
Like, we literally have his only pro as can't be upplayed. Nobody will call you out for being cheap.
Okay, I can think of one character that has more pre-jump than that. Helion in Cyberbots, who's actually a really good character. Their pre-jump is 16 frames, I think, 15 or 16.
Okay, but I'm sure they have a good reason for that.
They do.
Has a very good reason for that.
Yeah, Helion's thing is like flying around, literally. They're a helicopter, quite literally, so they have to take off. And this is a game where you can like air block basically all normals and specials, like anything except for actual grabs. You do have a limited amount of air time, but like you can last pretty long. Mm-hmm. So Cyberbots,
especially if you're like using like taps.
Yeah, and like using other moves that keep you up there. Because if you just hold it down, you get maybe like 5 seconds. But if you really stretch it out, you can get like upwards of 30 seconds of air time.
Yeah.
There's actually like, it's not like terrible, to be honest. Because there's one thing that I think we all actually know this user, KDoc BNZY. Mm-hmm. You know, Samsho, he's helped us with Samsho 3. He's helped us with a lot of things. He actually made a thread about like that I need to pull up. But it basically said something to the effect of like, when they're on the ground, go for the jugular. And that's literally how you have to play that matchup as a lot of characters. And it's kind of fun, not going to lie.
Right. And like, what the big thing is, we've talked about all these meme moves. We didn't talk about like why they're cool, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So 100%, I think that like bad moves on like good characters have a place. I think like, not just because like they're funny, like this is great trivia, and we talked about Potemkin. That's not a good character, but let's go to like a mediocre move on a good character. Like I don't know, I'll go back to Kliff and Plus R, right?
Mm-hmm.
2P, pretty mediocre in a lot of ways. There's a lot of clutch uses for it, like some anti-air, but like generally it's not great. But like those situations where it does work really well are really, really useful. And I think like bad moves like that are really fascinating. Where you get like certain specific ways to use them, or where they become like sort of big callouts, but they work really well on it. Or like 6H, right? This is mostly a combo move as Kliff. Like, but if you look at the first hitbox, it's second. The first one's above his head because Plus R is made by normal people.
Yes, of course.
But this one, right? So like it for the time it takes for this to come out, it does cover like a tremendous amount of range. So you can do like this move has 1 Gatling. Like there's one way to Gatling into 6H, and it's from 5P. And so what you can do is you can do like 5P 6H. And if they're trying to like jump out of your like 5P pressure and they're a little slow, sometimes this can tag them. And it's not normally specifically really good.
Yeah.
But like it's really funny, and it's just like one example of that kind of application.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, actually that's a funny online strat when the game exploded, because you do that and people would jump and then they die.
Right, yeah, no, 100%, because like they assume you can air block this because it's like it's so big. Like why wouldn't it? But no, it's a grounded normal. You have to faultless defense this.
Mm-hmm. Like everyone forgets to air block it, and a lot of people also don't know that he turns around if you go past him.
Oh yeah, when he's any of his chargeable moves. That's my favorite part about them. If you hold the other direction, he'll autocorrect.
Yeah,
you get shit like. Hold on, this one's one of my favorites. I think this showed up in my clip video. 2 different parts of this collectively, but. Like, this was so fucking funny.
I'm actually thinking of, like, alright moves on, like, good characters. Let me put this up on stream first. Alright. Boom. There it is. Alright.
I don't even have stream open, to be honest, so...
Oh. God.
The worst part is the burst coming back right when they get stunned. But that has to... like, cause then you can't burst.
Yeah.
Oh.
And man, like, if we're on like mediocre moves on good characters still, then I want to mention Marilyn in Akatsuki, because in vanilla and PC Akatsuki especially, like undisputed top 1. But she does legitimately have problems. And like one mediocre move is that one mediocre move is that she, or more generally, she doesn't have good non-committal pokes. She does have non-committal pokes, but she gets no reward from them. So like, it was like a lot of people could legitimately argue that, oh, she has issues like poking in neutral. So like, say a character like Murakumo, who has some of the best buttons in the game, or Fritz. There's a legitimate argument to be had that she struggles to deal with them in neutral. But then this is honestly a meme move in itself. She has her jump heavy, which is a disjointed jump in a game where most anti-airs are not disjointed. And it's like, yeah, she can't poke well, but she doesn't need to. So it's like yeah, that's something to think about in itself. Like, there's a lot of characters who like might have a certain flaw, but because like this is almost getting into a different topic, but like characters who have flaws, but the flaws don't matter because the rest of their toolkit is so effective at working around it.
Yeah. So right now I'm thinking of like this plays into like a few different things here. Samurai Shodown, and like I'm thinking of like Gaira and like a bunch of different properties he has to his moves. Like he has his 421B, which is like actually a decently fast overhead, but like the main thing I like about it is that it like it kind of low crushes. So it'll go over a lot of low pokes unexpectedly. It'll beat throws sometimes directly just because the throw box is like on the floor, so it'll go over throws. And it's just it's fun to like, and useful to just like throw out sometimes on a read. Same thing for his ground pound, which like he goes pretty high into the air and goes over stuff with it. So it's like not a good idea to use it up close, but sometimes it just works out.
I think Samsho 5 Special might have like the highest density of like conventionally in terms of like the numbers and what they do on paper meme moves.
Yeah,
and I only say this
like,
because like
here's the thing about Samsho, right? Samsho is like it memed itself as like this honest, slow-paced, neutral game, and it's like not at all. There's so many ways for you to cheat it. There's whiff canceling. There's like recoil canceling. You can whiff a move and cancel that into deflect.
And like it turns so many moves that are like bad. They're not good. Like there are a million moves that are fucking garbage in Samsho, but because of the way the game works on paper, like these moves would be fucking abysmal in any other game. But this is the game with no block stop, a shitload of hit stop for confirmation, whiff cancels, recoil cancels, like a shitload of things. So like it masks all of the bad properties of these moves and it turns them into legitimate mix-ups. And I think that's really interesting.
And it's also got like the throw system where it's like you don't have a throw whiff unless you're in range. So if you have like a move that's throw invincible and you do it at the right time, it'll beat the throw. And so many moves have like random throw invincibility to give them some sort of use, even if they're dumb risky.
Samsho 5 Special, like it's got so like I think it's actually kind of funny that we've talked about all like I actually think that this is a really good example of a move that's like this is a weird example because we've been talking about like mediocre moves on otherwise good characters, but I think Samsho 5 Special actually has an example of a move that is both bad and good at the same time.
Yu-Gi-Oh,
which,
right?
Not Yu-Gi-Oh, but you're on the right track. I'm talking about Yoshitora's 7th sword, Yu-Choka. Yeah. So, because like this move is like he pulls out his seventh sword, Totteoki o kurete yaru, and it's just this giant fuck off wave that reaches the entire like height of the screen. It travels full screen. It does an ass ton of damage, and the only way that he gains access to this move is by hitting with every single other one of his special moves. All of which are exceptionally situational and require some kind of commitment or hard read usually. Like I'm actually convinced that the power of Ucholka is why they chickened out from making his command grab an actual grab.
Well, and then in 7 they just made the grab.
They nerfed that shit.
I think it's an actual command grab in every game but 5 SP.
Well, here's the thing.
Or is it a command grab in base 5?
Yes. That's why he was really good in that game.
That explains why. Because Yoshitora is insane in base 5.
Yeah,
well,
it's
for other reasons
to realistically
too.
Get stuff, but yeah.
Right. It's also doesn't he also have an infinite in that game?
Yeah. If he lands B Nadeshko on back hit, then it doesn't. B Nadeshko doesn't knock down in Vanilla 5. So if you land it on back hit, then you just have enough time to link into it again.
Yeah, it's like a boxer straight rather than like the knockdown. It's very funny.
Yeah. So Yoshitora is like I think 5 special his Yugao is actually a very good like example of just bad moves but like that's still kind of useful because of the way Samsho works, because you can cancel forward rolls in that game into special moves, and Yugao it's a hit grab that you can't combo into for some reason, but I mean I know what the reason is, but you can't combo into it. Yep. But it's still like 3 frame startup or something like that, so you can still feasibly like call out gaps in pressure with it.
Speaking of combos, like especially in Samsho,
this is all I have for you.
While 7 did like remove the back hit, extra hit stun, and remove a lot of those situations there, it did add a new mechanic. Like I don't know how long ago it actually was. Like a few patches back, they added the guard crush. So like every slash, every special does some guard damage. Once they get to like 25%, and to give you a sense of scale, like lights do 5, kicks do 5, mediums and your universal overhead do 10, and heavy slashes do like 25%. So you eat like you block like 3 heavy slashes, and the 4th one will guard break them, and you can guard break only with 5C, not with 2C. But you can cancel the 5C if it guard breaks. And that includes if it hits multiple times. Like if you do Earthquakes, you'll break them with the first one, and then the second and third hit will connect, and you'll cancel that. And that leads to like a bunch of really absurd, like high damage combos and like new stuff. So, Yoshitora can actually abuse that too. He can do like 5C into Tsubaki, which is 4-2-1 B or C, and that's normally too slow for him to combo into, unless you do it off like a guard crush 5C. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I haven't played 7 much, so I wasn't really familiar with the guard crush mechanic, but it does sound interesting. Especially, I don't think Samsho has really had that before.
Yeah,
guard gauge.
It just hasn't at all. It's a really interesting solution to like. I think Sleep Mode, you were talking about it in like some Discord about like how it kind of diffuses a lot of situations and like forces you to not block as much, and that's really helpful.
Which
in
move
7.
is this again?
Just guard crush in general and what it does.
Oh, guard crush in general. Yeah, totally. Like because Samsho 7 is. Okay, so what I was saying in that Discord is that every Samsho game is like unique in some aspect, by which I mean they are all cursed in different ways, right? And like because like you got Samsho 1 that's just got like it's cursed system of like weapon clashes and everything like that, and whatever the hell is going on.
There's so much more that's also cursed in Samsho 1.
Yep. You got Samsho 2, the Korean expert character the Chinese expert character Ukyo, where Tsubame Gaishi is an instant overhead that is also a high priority projectile. You got Samsho 3, which is, Samsho 3. Like, you got Samsho 4, which is the game with the like terrible auto combo system and the combo counter that outright lies to you.
Esports Samsho 3, baby.
Mention Samsho 64.
You got Samsho 5 and 5 Special, which are games where like your throw where like everything option select into actions predicted by the game design button. You got Samsho 6, which has a groove system, including its own like unique groove where you just get a normal fucking super meter for some reason.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, Resetsumaru really needed it.
And then you got Samsho 7, which is where just like, hey, so people die in Samsho, right? So we're just gonna make you die. Like you just die immediately.
Okay, but what about Samsho 64?
No one's played that game because we don't live in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Nintendo
that game's
64.
really funny though.
I mean, it looks incredible, right? I think we'd all enjoy it.
Like Hanzo command grabbing you full screen.
Yeah, like because Samsho 7 is a game where you just die, like people very quickly figured out that like this is a game where you don't want to be forcing engagements that much if you can help it. So adding something like God Crush was a genuinely very useful thing to do because God Crush in any game, I think, is justifiable when the point of the mechanic is to say, hey, there is something better that you could be doing right now except for blocking.
Right, and I think like there's a couple mechanics that do that too that aren't necessarily guard crush, but I get what you mean, like guard gauge and Guilty Gear, which is a really smart way.
Like in Samsho specifically, it's because of the way they design throws in 7. Like if you force someone to whiff a throw, you get either like a free full jump in combo, even if you jumped away, or if you like neutral jump or spot dodge, you're gonna SSM, and that does like 700 damage, like 70% flat for most characters.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to get going, sadly, but this has been a wonderful conversation.
Thank you.
I'm glad you invited me on. I just have to like unwind and get ready to go to bed kind of soon.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for having me, Mr. Polar Bear. Next time you have me on, I'll try and be on a little longer. I didn't even know you had a Discord.
Yeah, look, any minute now. The man, what's the game that Spooky advertised? What's it called again? I know he was
quite
on
a
for
few
something.
of those. You have to.
Dislight, Evany, whatever. Sponsors hit me up. I only play fighting games, but I'm sure I can do something for you.
Yeah, man. Right. You got your Discord. You got your sub emotes. Polar Bear Poggin. Wait, you actually have bit rewards? What the fuck is this?
I only added them because I wanted to memorialize the Raisins emotes.
You have more sub emotes than me.
Damn. They're all too good. Also, thank you, Scuddy, for the raid. All right, but yeah, you take care, buddy.
Yeah, Polar Bear Clout Streamer. Let's fucking go. Yeah, thank you for having me, though.
Yep.
I will see you all later. I'll probably keep watching. I'm just gonna be lying down.
All right. Have a good one.
I gotta attend to a dog, so I can't really split my attention.
That's nice.
All right, take care.
So long.
Yeah.
But all right. So
what other ground do we have left to cover? Actually,
you go ahead.
I just remember on the topic of like meme characters, which is something that we've not really covered too much just yet, is I'm literally just looking through like my favorites on Fightcade going like, what do I know about here? What do I know about here? Actually no. First, meme move that people don't know about. So in the King of Fighters 2000, Hinako has a command grab whose startup animation triggers pre-block, so it can't actually grab you, which is very unfortunate.
Wow. Man, King of Fighters is such a series, huh?
It's got some games in it. But as far as like meme characters concerned, and we can kind of start talking about like joke characters as well if we want. Is so in Project Justice,
I actually
there
sorry.
is
And while you were like on KOF 2000, I thought you were going to start talking about Joe Stryker because like Joe has historically
Ooh.
not been very good in KOF, right? I think we can say that. He's actually pretty solid
Yeah.
in 15 though.
Like
but-
15 is the exception, not the rule.
And it's funny.
Yeah. He's generally only ever allowed to be good in like Fatal Fury games, and even then I know he's good in like Fatal Fury Special, but I don't think he's that strong in anything else.
Yeah, unfortunately. He is like
he's always
I think
been
he's
the
second.
middling character.
I think he's second in like Fatal Fury Special, which good for him, but Kim's in that game and he runs it.
Second to Kim, yeah.
Yeah.
But Joe Stryker is definitely like the meme, right? Strikers in general are a bit of a meme because there's still a bit of like it's not really, a hot topic or anything, but there is definitely a bit of contention between like because there's like regular KOF 2000, which I think is the way that the Chinese players play as well. Like, the Taiwanese and the Hong Kong players play.
There's like a limit on strikers per combo, right?
No, that's the Korean rules.
Mm.
So the Korean rules is you're only allowed to use one striker per combo. Whereas I'm pretty sure everyone else just does it like, just use strikers until you don't have any whatever. It's
just
fine.
spend that
fair
shit,
game.
That's up to you.
Like, because KOF has for a long time been a game where you dump resources to deal incredulous amounts of damage, right? And I feel like, dumping your striker bombs on a kill combo is like just the same thing in KOF 2000. So my perspective on it is just like, yeah, if you want to spend all 3 of your striker bombs on a kill combo, like that's fine, but yeah, like the Joe Stryker in particular, definitely a bit of a meme. Less so for the case because there's like 3 super relevant strikers. In that
I feel
game,
like he's actually not the strongest one because you've got another Iori and you've got Seth.
Isn't what's his? Or no, this is 2000. Never mind.
There's plenty of good strikers in that game, but I think like that top 3 is very clear.
Yeah, definitely. I would probably. I think there's an argument to be made for Seth being the strongest one, but honestly, the thing with Seth is that he's very, very good, but properly taking advantage of him requires like specific characters because like the way that he lets you sort of do combos means that there are certain characters like Blue Mary and Seth can do just absolutely insane damage.
There's like a very funny combo that Heather did that was like involved Seth Stryker and comboing into Galactica Phantom, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah,
there's stuff like that. Because this is the game where
him.
Galactica Phantom is a very slow, very, very, very slow, unblockable rather than just big punch. Actually, Ralph Stryker isn't too bad because he just does fast full screen Galactica Phantom. It's blockable, but you can very easily just like use it as a zoning tool.
Yeah, I feel like
very funny.
Even if you removed or like banned the top 3 strikers, I don't think it's warranted necessarily. But if you did that, you'd still have a very interesting cast.
Yeah,
definitely. There's still a good handful of like fairly strong characters, right?
Yeah, it's not like a Marvel situation like we talked about on the last one where like if you remove the top tiers, the game becomes kind of boring. It's not like that.
Yeah. Like thinking like actually kind of touch on get some indie rep out there. Heatwave, great Guilty Gear-esque indie game. It has a really cool system where you have 3 grooves. So you got speed groove, power groove, and team groove. Speed and power groove, you select a character and then you select an assist. It's functionally kind of like more like a striker, but it is. I mean, we just call them assists. But team mode, you select 2 characters and you have a front and back character with half health. And you get extra assists, 3 for each character.
Ooh.
That's hilarious. So that's like KOF 2001, where you just have 3 assists.
Or it's but the cooldown is the same. But you get more versatility in team mode. But the point I was trying to make more so is you have some very strong there. So before a more recent patch, every assist had the same cooldown. So and that was like very clearly not okay, because you have some assists where a character like raises up their sword and slams it down. It does pretty good block stun. You can use it to extend combos, but kind of weak neutral use. Then you have other assists where a character shoots a full screen beat. Character has like a near like frame 10 full screen beam that locks down the opponent for a while and also extends combos and does good damage.
Yeah, so you've got clear favorites in that.
Yeah, there was like no reason not to pick it. So what the dev did, Monochromatic Hermit, what they did is they tiered we tiered the assists, like ranked them, like where is this, and then gave them higher or lower cooldowns based on how good it was. So now the aforementioned like beam assist that's really fast, full screen, does everything you want, you only basically get 2 of it per round. Like, and that's it. And a more balanced assist, like a DP assist or something, you get like 4 or 5 or 6 around.
Yeah, that's a good way to handle it. And I feel like that's what a lot of like, for example, one of the earliest things I can think of is like, well, I'm thinking of like HD Remix and New Legacy for Super Turbo, and like toning down Fei Long's meter gain on Rekka so he doesn't gain super so often because his super is absurdly good and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like that's a good way to handle things.
God, that tiering of assists and everything is like, that can be like, if you're paying attention to like how your characters are designed, then that can genuinely be very good, but that can be potentially kind of dangerous, because it just makes me think of the ratio system in Capcom versus SNK1, because so like, I mean, everybody knows about like, you know, Capcom versus SNK2, right? You know, this tournament is held under the free ratio system, so you get to like pick your, you get to have like 2 characters as ratio 1 and then 1 character as a ratio 2. But there's also like in Capcom versus SNK1, because like the entire idea behind like the ratio system was because like ratio tournaments were becoming kind of popular at the time, like especially among, you know, KOF and everything. And so what Capcom tried to do when they made CVS1 was like, okay, so we'll just like implement a ratio system into our game like right off the bat, so that like the ratio format will be the default format for our game competitively. And like I respect the vision, but basically what ended up happening was that you had 4 points for your team, and there were characters that ranged from ratios 1 to 4. So you ended up in a situation where like there were a bunch of completely like overtuned characters who were ratio 1, and there were characters who were not nearly strong enough to justify them being ratio 4. So like you could play like a solo ratio 4 character who was crap, or you could play 4 ratio 1 characters who were all really good.
Yeah, what was Nakoruru in that game? Because she was
I think from memory, Nakoruru was ratio 2. Yeah, I think from memory, Nako was ratio 2. So like double ratio 2 is a pretty popular like team comp in that game.
It's interesting,
Yeah, CVS1. I mean, Nako is a bit of a meme character in some respects, like
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
in the King of Fighters 14, right?
That's
On
something you
when
can
that
talk
game
about
launched.
too, because it's like, character consistency across games, and how it sometimes just does not exist at all. Like Nako is
Nako ranges from top tier to bottom tier. And there's no
exactly,
in between.
and in the most popular games, she's bottom tier. Samsho 2, Samsho 5 Special, and then she's top tier in 3 and 4 for some reason. They
Yep.
just kind of gave her a bunch of very easy infinite tools for some reason. It's just like you get bird dive that like staggers
Well,
on hit for some reason.
But Rara was always high tier at worst.
Yeah, although the reason she's good in 3 is like a complete mistake, and it's because you can't throw her while she's on the wolf. Don't ask why.
Mhm.
It just does not work.
The Kohatsu killer, baby.
There's a lot of things in that game that just don't quite work, and that's what makes it so special. You have like blind spots that include how Umaru close 5B if you're just too close. it just whiffs. I think it doesn't happen on everyone. It happens on most characters, but not like Hanzo and Galford for some reason.
They're wide ninjas.
I know, yeah, it's very strange. I wish we had hitboxes for that game so bad. There's a lot of mystery interactions that we just can't really explain unless we had that kind of technology.
Yeah.
Slash Homaru in general in that game is great because he's like dead easy, and then you try to do his back hit combos and you realize that they're character specific and involve micro walks. Although micro walk is kind of a misnomer because you can walk quite a bit between those loops. But on some characters it's pretty easy. Like on Genjiro, it's pretty reasonable. On ninjas, it's actually pretty reasonable too, but on like Shizumaru, it's borderline impossible to keep it up.
Actually, thinking about meme characters again, especially in like a busted game, I'm now thinking of like Gundam Battle Assault 2 again. Like that is a game where like a lot of the top tiers are just so much better than the bottom tiers. Because you have heavy arms in that game, for example. Heavy arms and Rose are probably the biggest offenders in the meta right now, because heavy arms, there's a lot of characters who just can't get past his zoning. Like he's literally every character can on paper get past it, but if you once you get past the first line of zoning, which is him spamming smart bombs, which cover every angle and are just obscenely good in every way, you then have to get past the second level of zoning because you made it past the smart bombs by spending all your thruster meter, which now you have to wait to regenerate. So now you can't mix up your movement, so he knows where you're going to land. If your character can't mix up their landing by either using an aerial gunshot or a dive kick, then they're fucked. He just anti-airs you or runs away, and now you have to start the zoning over, except now you're going to take a bunch of chip because you have no thruster meter, and so now you have to wait for it all to come back. And you need a full thruster meter to get past the zoning. Like any less, and he will knock you out, and you have to wait for it all to regen again.
Man, that sucks. Yeah, that sounds a lot like kind of like the top tiers in Cyberbots, Helion and Super 8 especially. Like Super 8 has these mines that these aerial mines that he can throw out that just are really annoying to get around. Lots of like long limb normals. Yeah. And then they've also got like weird stuff like Boost L Infinite, although it's kind of tricky to link, or Jump 2H, which hits 8 times because, funny octopus, and it's also hits high, is also like pretty fast to start up. I think it's like 3-frame startup, so you can use it as an instant overhead, and it crosses up. It's just really stupid, to be honest. But then that game, the best character in that game's Vice, who has a command grab that also works in the air, has no whiff, and is a DP motion, so it option selects with like everything all the time, and that's just how the game goes.
I would say Vice is broken positive, while Hellion and Super A are broken negative.
Yeah, but it's just like a fact of how the game works because like air blocking is so good, and you can boost, and you can like while you're jumping in the air, you're not really, unless you're like throwing out a button, you're able to air block everything.
Yeah, like Hellion isn't playing the same game everyone else is.
Yeah, and it just makes me wish that like more characters had air throws in that game, but you get like the golden moments of setups. You get like stuff like Tarantula shooting missiles into like Super, which is a ground to air grab, which is a really weird thing to say, and that doesn't exist for a lot of characters.
Yeah, like if everyone in that game had an air throw, it would probably be a much better game competitively. I think it would just make it. It would add so much more depth, I think, to how you play it.
See, I think it's like it's not necessarily bad that it's like a game where you have to approach it pretty carefully and be careful not to concede a lead. I do see why it's like boring, though. I do like understand why that would turn people away, and that's why I think I compare it a lot to like Smash, where you can have these moments of like fast mix-up and movement-heavy play, or you can have like the slow, more drawn-out interactions.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like a lot of the top level play it is generally just simply more optimal to play lame,
and that's part of the
unless
thing,
you're
right?
specifically playing. Unless you're specifically playing. How did I forget the grappler's name already?
Yeah, Vice or
Vice. Yeah,
or like Killer Bee has an air throw and Reptos has an air throw, and those two characters are both pretty good in their own right. Killer Bee is hard to play. Reptos not so much. I mean, like surface level, you've got advancing safe on block move that's not unlike a rush punch, and you've got pretty solid zoning, and you've got no high-low game, but you have air to ground command throw instead, which is a really funny thing to have. And so that part of that is like people are not playing optimally outside of Japan, so it's like I really implore people to like feel it out with that game. But that's the thing with a lot of fighting games is like potential isn't realized, and a lot of early impressions can kind of color how people see it.
Yeah.
Also, Sleep Mode, you were talking about, was it Project Justice or TVC that you were talking about something before?
Project Justice, yeah. So, because we kind of touched on the idea of like meme characters a little bit before, because or like joke characters, and there's definitely a character who is like absolutely a joke character in Project Justice. So there's a couple of there's like Project Justice is a game where it's kind of like got a bit of a Marvel vs. Capcom-esque sort of air combo system, and every character has two kinds of launches. The English-speaking terminology for it, I believe, is like there's like a mini launcher, which is a launcher that you can chain into from normals, and you just get to do like a smaller air combo. And then there's a rival launcher, which you can't chain into from normals, but it lets you do like more extended air combos, like it launches higher and your aerial normals have more hits done for a bit, stuff like that. Now there is a character in Project Justice called Chairperson. And Chairperson in the lore is just like, I think she's literally like the chair of the like student council. And so her fighting style in the lore is like she learned karate from by reading books that she got through mail order.
Best way to learn.
Which may or may not have been written by Dan Hibiki. So her fighting style is not very good. She has a lot of like extremely slow moves, very low damage, not particularly useful in any like combat capacity.
Side note, I love like the Street Fighter Extended Universe. I hope Capcom uses that more. Come on, it's sitting right there, guys. You've
look, we've had Final Fight characters in the last few Street Fighter games. So
we've had them since Alpha 3 or
the door's
Alpha 1.
open.
Yeah. And we did have Akira in Street Fighter V as DLC. So, you know, the extended universe is definitely being used to some extent.
They're like hinting towards it, but they don't want to fully commit. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but we'll get the Capcom crossover game eventually.
Yeah.
But so, couple things about Chairperson. One is that she does not have a rival launcher. She has two normals which launch, but they are both mini launchers for some reason. So that's kind of another significant point against her. But there's one thing that she does have. So in Project Justice, you have your point character and you have your two characters that are sitting in the back, and you have a team super that you can perform with either one of them. And the team supers all do different things depending on who your reserve character is. They either like deal some damage, or they heal you, or they restore some meter. Which is funny, like it's like 2 bars for a team super to get 3 bars back. So it's basically just like if you hit with the team super that builds meter, you like go positive 1 bar.
Yeah, that's
Chairperson's team super is unique in that it is the only team super in the game that will both restore HP and meter. So that's like the one reason to pick her.
Well, like with how Project Justice's teams work, is there any reason not to just pick her then?
Because you want to have 3 characters that you can actually play in the match.
It's like Captain Commando or Captain Suckass in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, where he's only good for his assist.
It's a little bit more leniency in Project Justice because if you like, none of your characters are like knocked out of the match if they get KO'd. Like you can swap between any one of your characters, like win or lose. So there's a lot of like, matchup considerations. So like theoretically, the best team would probably be something like, I don't know, fucking Roberto, Roy, and Chairperson or something. But like, honestly, it's not like the balance of Project Justice isn't so skewed that that's ever really a consideration you need to make. Like, it's a pretty well held together game outside of like Roy's jab being fucked up and Chairperson being like bottom 1.
It's great. But yeah, while we're speaking of joke characters, I feel like oddly enough we're seeing like a return of joke characters in fighting games, and it's kind of strange to place that all together because it's like you have Dan in Street Fighter V, who is like he's a solid character, but he's got a bunch of meme elements. He's got the random fireball now to fix the infinite. He's got the
he builds UV meter.
Yeah, he's got the taunts, which are like combo extenders, but they build your V meter as like a downside. And you've got, King of Fighters is bringing Shingo back, and I'm sure they're gonna do him right because SNK like sticks to their guns on that.
Shingo's been decent. Like, he's not usually terrible, anyways.
Yeah, he's got like some stuff, and the main thing is like his gimmick is just random critical hits.
Yeah.
So he's inherently like inconsistent by design, and that's kind of a meme in its own right. You've got characters that kind of rely on rolling the dice, literally in terms of like randomness or like playing just mix-ups and kind of disregarding the risk reward, right? But and then we've got Neco-Arc and Melty Blood, and Neco-Arc has done a lot for Melty Blood, like it or not.
Yeah.
we can safely say that it's probably like brought a lot of serious interest to the game, even though like the actual patch is also really good. Right, so it's good to see people being actually positive about that game now, because there have been a lot of grievances aired with like the balance, in terms of like why is Vlov getting buffed even though he's winning like NA tournaments, but I guess he doesn't have rep in Japan. Exactly, and then it's like they actually did a lot of stuff to like make Neco-Arc a character not completely useless. She's still got low damage and low health.
She's
and
still
low range.
Garbage tier, honestly,
but she also has a lot of very funny tools. You've got the the VTuber overlay, you've got all the randomness, and you've got all the different crazy setups the character can do. So it's like you can at least play the character. They're not good, but it's not like a completely non-existent character that just has a slot because they wanted to make some funny animations.
Mm-hmm.
And like the new jokes that they made with Neco-Arc and Type Lumina are like honestly
actually
incredible.
It's crazy because like the fear with a character like Neco-Arc, especially when they become such a big internet meme, is that it's gonna be really cringe. But the writers, I don't know if it's like who's writing Type Lumina, but they're actually funny. Like they, yeah, it's funny. There's nothing else to say about it. It's like if it wasn't funny, like the actual Twitter memes, then I would mind it a lot more. But it's good jokes on a goofy character design that's not being taken too seriously, and so I can like respect it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you kind of can't be mad that it's generating interest in the game, even if it's not the preferred way you'd want it. Because I mean, look, if people are going to watch the game and have questions about it, you've got to be there to answer it, and you've got to take advantage of that meme power. And I guess that brings us to like the final thing we can kind of touch on, which is like Dino Rex. I'm just going to put that down there. Sleep mode. Have you played Dino Rex? Because I feel like
Yes.
in your pursuit for Kusoge, you've got to have tried it out at least once.
Oh yeah, it was pretty recently that I tried it out after the the tournament became a big meme.
Dino Evo.
Dino Rex is
it's complicated, right? Because it's a game where blocking kind of tenuously exists, and there's a few characters, so there's some.
That's a very generous way of putting it.
There's very like matchup specific interactions in that game. It's really funny. Like I've actually thought about that. I played against someone who plays like Pachycephalosaurus or whatever as Allosaurus, and I'm like thinking, wow, it's kind of fucked up that their like combo attack, which is just PK, can hit me on the ground, but I can't hit them on the ground. So that changes things up because suddenly you're playing with like a risk of taking a lot more damage from them, right? Like that's a game, that's a fighting game at its core, even though it's like following none of the conventions at all.
You
go.
Yeah, I still think it's a bad game at the end of the day, but it's significantly like more. You can launch it, you can have a decent time with it if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't think it's like secretly good, but I do think it's interesting to play a game where you have to space and do not have block to fall back on. I don't want more games where you don't have a block at all. I just kind of appreciate the experience of it. I don't know.
Yeah, like the overwhelming impression that I took away from my time with Dino Rex was like, well, one, I played the bonus stage and think, okay, this is like actually fun. This is so good. The bonus stage is incredible. I just wish that was the game. But the thing with Dino Rex for me was that it was a game where even after I read a game facts guide on it, which was written by Go Billy, so you know it was a good guide, even after reading that guide and playing the game with the guide open, nothing about the game made any sense to me.
Oh, of course not.
It was completely inscrutable. It's like, oh, you hold down to block. Well, that's weird. Okay, why the fuck am I not blocking then? What is going on here?
Because your character can't block.
Oh yeah, there are some characters that can't block in that game, and like whether or not I was able to actually hit anything felt completely inconsistent. Like,
yeah, it's like the one thing I will ever give Missing Link is that it's a good feeling fighting game. It is.
They at least got that much.
Yeah, it is one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever played, and I love it, but I also hate it.
It has objectively got like probably the best boss reveal cutscene of any fighing game.
Yes, it has so much style, so much heart. Like I love that game, and I just will never. I do not want to play that game with other humans. Like, I don't want to ever do that to someone. They don't deserve it.
I could say the same about Samsho 3, but I do feel like playing that game against people because I feel like that game was actually a game that kind of got played because of the memes, right? It got played because of the infinites and all the absurd stuff. But what didn't get fully realized, and something that Heather would have talked a lot about, is just how strong defense is in that game. Because we talked about deflect earlier, but we didn't talk about one, you can just block while you're deflecting. Like if you fail to deflect something, you can just block after. Or like during the deflect, even though you whiffed. So that's stupid. You've got air blocking in a game where, I mean, again, not everyone has air throws. There are like air unblockable ground normals, but that's like, every normal is kind of unique in that regard. So like some characters have grounded normals that are air blockable, like Amakusa, and that sucks for him. He actually can't open you up at all, really. And part of that is because his overhead like whiffs on certain crouchers. And part of that's because throws in that game are terribly slow. They're 14 frames, I think. So
14 frames.
If you attempt to
frames,
throw,
except for Genjiro, who is 9 frames, and then Zankuro, who is 8 frames.
Yes, and Zankuro can also start a front hit infinite off his throw because he throws you into Fireball, and that just loops into itself.
Yep.
So you've got throws that are so terrible that you just can't really use them unless you're using them as a punish, specifically to like force a back hit. Right, because again, 14 is so slow. You know, you can not just jump or backdash. You can attack. Most attacks in that game are faster than 14 frames. Even like only heavy slashes are slower than that. It's just you can walk out of the way of throws sometimes. Even it's stupid. And if you circle step them, then you know you get the back hit and you win. So there's that. What else am I missing here? I think that's pretty much it. Oh, spot dodges too. Spot dodges are like 2 frame startup and don't have any recovery, I think. So hold on, let me look this up just to make sure. There's thankfully we have the frame data for spot dodges on the wiki. But
very well documented game.
Yeah, despite not being a good game. All right, yeah. So you've got 2 startup. You can block during that startup, by the way. You can only be thrown out of it, which again, throws are bad. Command throws are really good, though. Command throws are like frame 3 across the board, except for Gyra's, which is a bit slower. But sidestep, 2 frame startup where you can block, 20 invulnerable frames, the last 11 of which you can cancel by normals, and then you can't re-input a spot dodge for 7 frames. So you can't spot dodge constantly, but it's really strong when you put that into perspective. So yeah, that's like memes end up sometimes leading to a game being kind of unrealized, and I don't know if we'll ever be able to like recapture a scene for that, but I'm glad it existed when it did.
Yeah.
So I guess that's going to be how we're going to end the stream. Anything else you guys want to share before we call it?
Actually, I kind of wish I'd brought up Shisei Ichigo now, but oh well, it's a little late.
Yeah. ABK1, pretty much.
Yep.
The only thing that I want to add is just on the Dino Rex thing. I think it's incredibly like you learn about the history of that game's development and like the dev team behind it, and it's like literally the 2 games that those devs had made before that game were a couple of scrolling shmups. One was called Gun Frontier, which was an incredibly influential shoot 'em up. It was basically Shinobu Yagawa's favorite shmup, which is why all of the games that he made, like both for 18 and to some extent for Cave afterwards, are so inspired by Gun Frontier. And then they made Metal Black as well, which was another scrolling shoot 'em up. And I don't know, it's just so funny to think about how like, because like you had Tower Plan at this time, right, where they saw the release of Street Fighter 2, and the CEO of Tower Plan was just like, we're not going to be able to survive this. The fighting game is going to completely change the landscape of the arcade, because like the shmup was dominant at this time for a very long time. So it's like the shmup is going to be like killed by the fighting game. We're not in a position to keep up, so we're just going to like give everyone a big final payout on like severance. We'll declare bankruptcy, and we're just gonna fade into the night. And then Taito looked at Street Fighter 2 and they looked at their dev team who had just finished making Metal Black and Gun Frontier, and those guys looked at Street Fighter 2 and said, "Yeah, we can do that."
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
With dinosaurs.
Unfortunately, they didn't have the raw talent of Data East, who made Karnav's Revenge. But maybe in another universe, things could have been different.
They didn't have the raw talent to invent fighting games the way that Data East did, because Avengers and Galactic Storm.
The two sides of Data East are like Avengers and Galactic Storm and
God, I
Karnav's
can't
Revenge.
believe that game's getting a ROM hack that's not rebalancing it per se, but like
the assists from the heroes and villains. So now every character can use every assist.
Oh no!
Yeah, and that's that game is honestly pretty cool, and I never got into it personally, but
hideous. I can't cap. That game looks so ugly. I don't know who was in charge of making it so that they use pre-rendered 3D models of the Avengers. And it's also really funny looking back, because nowadays we have the MCU and we have a very defined Avengers, famous.
Mm-hmm.
But back then it's none of these characters are recognizable now. The ones that are like Captain America, and assists like Thor and Iron Man. These guys are assists, they're not mainline characters right now.
Yeah, we have the not Thor dude.
We have Thunderstrike.
Yeah, because this was based off the actual comic line. Whatchamacallit?
Was it not just
it's based Avengers? Off the actual comic line, anyways.
Yeah. And that was in the 90s, and comics in the 90s were weird.
Yeah, it was not a traditional Avengers story, or at least what we now think of as a traditional Avengers story.
Yeah. It's interesting how things change with a time like that. And, maybe someday people will figure out that Suiko Enbu is an underrated classic, or maybe not. I just got to put that out there since we mentioned Data East.
When's Saturn rollback emulation?
God.
Because what is an underrated classic? Oscar 120% limit over. That game fucks.
Yep. I can drink to that.
Yeah. Right. I have a fat cake I need to eat. So I'm going to go do that.
Respect. All right. See you later.
So long. Have a good night.
Take it easy. Right. I suppose this is probably a good time to wrap up, yeah?
Yeah, I think that's basically everything I need to say about this. The one last thing I'm going to say, shoutouts to Ultra Fight Daikanta 2. I haven't played that game yet. I really should.
Yeah, why haven't you played Kianta 2 yet?
I don't know.
Kianta 2.
I've been too lazy. I've been thinking about all these other games I want to push. Cyberbots, Karnav's Revenge.
Kianta 2. That game rules.
I got to do it for myself. All right, I'm going to find someone to raid here. Take it easy, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by, everyone.
So long again.
Catch you later.
I gotta find someone who's actually streaming fighting games at this moment. I'm gonna throw it over to Amerikame, who's streaming some JoJo's, I think. All right. Bye.